I was thinking that those guys that ride those bikes with the tights and everything, I think it's that they just want to wear those tights. I know I did. It's actually great to get out here. Get away from the city traffic and lights and everything. I got my my lemon coffee. There goes the lizard. Let's see if we can zoom in on him here. That's one thing I like about this camera. Let's see here. What's up, bud? So yeah, guys, I am officially a man in love at the end of the world. Didn't think it would happen to me, but it did. And I have just absolutely fallen in love with a beautiful woman, a Russian snow princess. And I love her so dearly that I can't even tell you guys. And I know I was thinking that a lot of people watching this would be like, oh my God, some evil woman seduced him. He's been fooled by Satan and he's getting sucked down into hell. I know, I have the same thoughts of suspicion about everything. In fact, that's exactly what I thought it was for a long time. Like, I mean, even as much as a year ago. I mean, for a year that I was, because I thought, well, okay, this could be like some kind of a, trap or whatever. But I got to know her, and I was still suspicious. And then she did some more incredible things for Christ, okay, and for people, and just amazing things. Still, I suspected. And then the turning point in my trust for her and deciding to trust her was in this last incident that I told you about with Captain Jones being shot, and then she got up on the horse and ordered all the men that wanted to go out and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to leave the monastery. We're talking about 1,000 monks. 500 of them left, about half left, and then half stayed. And she said the rest of she got on a horse and she said, "We're gonna fight highest master monks." Big old Thai monk shit fight, guys. Can you imagine it? Freaking awesome. Huge ass Thai monks. These guys, that's all they do is train to fight. These Asians, all they do is they fight, man. So you can imagine what a shit fight was. And she got shot twice more while she was up on the horse. And they fought, and they fought, and they fought, and they won. And finally, all of highest master monks were outside. And she went outside and told them all to come in because they were throwing rocks at our friend and her lawyer, Kunpi's car every time he was driving into town to get stuff. And finally, she went outside and invited him in. And then so they all came in, and Master Amperchat, Master Monk. So there's two. Don't get confused. Once again, there's the highest Master Monk of Thailand, and that's the only name I know him by. And this guy is, kind of a, little bit of a problematic dude, and just to put it mildly. And then, but then so highest master monk, and then there's highest master of the temple on a hill. And so, yeah, and so he started, the master of the temple on a hill started training his men. And they took off their old previous robes and put on the simple orange robes of the Thai monk, and it's just freaking amazing. And it's like a school of people learning, and it's just like a continual flow of people into this place and learning and growing, and he's teaching men's hearts, and he's this Master Amperchat. By the way, in case I didn't mention that in my previous movie, you didn't catch it, I found out he always he never told his name, and when they asked him his name, he said he forgot it a long time ago. But I found out from someone else who was able to look up the records, and he was the gentleman who helped us. We call him Mr. Cook, and we found out that his name was Amperchat, and he actually, this guy who I've been talking with this whole time, you guys, you know the records at my YouTube channel, but he's the master of this huge ancient monastery. And he's the guy that I've been talking with this whole time, and that I even joked one time that he should watch some anime, and then he ended up doing it, and they got the anime and everything. And then I told him that they should also build a big, like a theater place for all the monks to watch select videos, and we got that done. Well, they got started on it because the help that we got from a certain Mr. Cook helped us, and yeah, and so that was going to be built, and but in any case, the history of Master Amperchat was that he was offered, because he was such a grand master, that he was offered the position of highest master monk of Thailand, but he turned it down to just be a regular trainer of these guys. Yeah, and so this is just an incredible man, and I realize now this whole thing happening with me meeting Anna, and all this is happening, that I have been chosen because of what I've done with my life, and what I am, and what God had planned for me, and that plan was for truly amazing things. And all I can say is that I am enormously blessed because of, how's it going, dude? And so the fact that this happened at this time, it tells me that it's reassuring to me that my life didn't come to nothing, and the things that I did and worked for weren't for some kind of life of being a nothing. At least this happening tells me it's something, and it's just incredible, guys. Incredible stuff that I've got in this situation with these people, and they're all in Thailand. And all right, so I got cut off. All right, so I want to tell you about something that happened recently, and so in some conversations with someone who could pull some strings for us, we got, shall we say, significant help, as in $100,000 in US money. And I was so happy about this. It was the single biggest amount that I had ever gotten, certainly and it was largely for Ada, but what happened was she had decided to give it to me, and that was actually a big mistake, because I think my money is cursed. That's why I've been homeless the whole time, and a variety of other reasons that we believe were involved. But let me tell you what happened. So the help that we had from this, so shall we say, well-endowed gentleman in Thailand, money-wise, and he helped us, and we got a bunch of help, and among that help was $100,000 in cash, and that was, and I had meant for them to send me $15,000 because I needed to just pay the bills here and then come over there, because I wanted to come over there, and I would be over there right now if it wasn't for the fact that what happened was the employee of this gentleman who helped us was driving with two other of Captain Jones's police agents, and with Ada's lawyer Kunpi, and they were on the way to the bank with the money, and so they had all in $100 bills in the car. American $100 bills in cash. And P looks out the window and he sees a naked woman running through the forest, the same speed as the car. And he sees the woman with the breasts, the same one that attacked Anna when she was at the monastery and she disappeared for a week. In case you didn't catch that episode, you might want to go back and check it out for more detail. But what happened was Anna disappeared for a whole week, just in thin air, just disappeared for a week. And when she returned, she was hovering in the air with glowing eyes and speaking with this loud, thundering voice of God. And but right before she had disappeared, this weird naked woman with black hair and large breasts was like running around laughing. Well, now, this is about, I think about 3 or 4 months later, and they're going to the bank with the money. He looks out the window and he sees this naked woman running. And he just remembers seeing her breasts, and then, because she's naked, but running the same speed as the car, okay? And they're driving along, and she's running through the forest. Next thing you know, this fire bursts in the car, and the car bursts in flames, and it's a huge accident, and everything is destroyed. The money's burned up. Two of the police agents are moderately injured, and the man driving, who was the employee of the gentleman who was helping us with all this, who gave us the money and everything, was hurt very badly, and he's in the hospital now with multiple fractures to his spine, third-degree burns all over his body, severely burned to the point where his body is rejecting the burned tissue, and his blood is poisoned from the toxins that are now in his blood. And yeah, and so this is really bad, and we were totally depressed about it. This really knocked the wind out of us, guys, because now I may be homeless again and having to move out. And yeah, I'm like packing my stuff and getting ready and everything because we don't have any money. And she's blind, and we don't have any other money. And except that also in that same gift package that we got a bowl that was for our friend Kunpi, who was getting married to the girl, as I told in the story. So he met this girl Tuang because Anna touched him with her psychic ability and reminded him of this girl that he loved as a child. And he's my age about. I think he's like a little bit younger. I'm 49, and he's like 43 or 45 or something like that. And so he goes and talks with her and meets her and everything. And she starts crying because she didn't have a man. And because they had met in school and everything, and he got together with her, and it's just a fabulous romance, guys, absolutely fabulous, and just so moving, I mean, it's just like moving to tears, everything that's happening here. And so, just want to look at the stage here. Got to get some of that stuff. So, yeah, just freaking amazing. But we got attacked, and I've been asked to not talk about who it was, but we know who it is. And it turns out that you have super soldiers that have split personalities, and we also found out that it was a NSA agent that sent her, because she's psychic and she saw the phone number, and I traced it back to the NSA. And I didn't bother calling the number, but we know it was her handlers in the NSA, and then because he's a satanic stooge, and he sent her out to do the bidding of Satan, and then so that was to destroy our finances and to also punish certain members and things that were happening, and so we really got the wind knocked out of us now, and so I'm about to be homeless, and they're out of money. She can't pay her rent over there either, and luckily we have a lot of friends though. We still have our friends at the monastery. We still have, and the gentleman who helped us also got into trouble because of that, and also now Captain Jones got arrested, and he's in prison now because they were accusing him, as I told you, about the accidents, the car accidents, that they were using mind control and causing them to have accidents, and then the police show up and they write the report, and it says that they're drunk. Sorry, and they, of course, they weren't. These are professional policemen, and but they accused him of being drunk, and then also because also there was persons involved that were involved in some of the higher ups in the Thai situation, and so bottom line to it was that the guy who helped us is now also in trouble, or he might be in trouble, and I hope not, because he was very nice to help us, and it's unbelievable. It was like the celebration of my life when I found out that he got the money, and because I only asked him for a little bit to help us tide us over until we could do this other job that we were going to do to heal somebody for a significant sum, and that's not going nearly as well because they were at this certain place and we were trying to find out about it, and it's going very slow, and it looks like they're asking a lot of questions and all these tests, and they're not gonna just let her do it, and do the job, and so it's a big problem, and but in any case, so we're all strapped up against the wall currently at this moment, and we're just gonna wait and see what happens. But through it all, at least, I had something that gave me something to live for, and that was my love for Anna. And it's just strange how she became blind by being attacked by Satan and those two demons by the river, and that homeless guy that was with her was killed. That was seen on the CCTV footage. And then when they were taking that footage apart, the guy who was analyzing the footage for Captain Jones was found having gouged out his own eyes and blood all over the place. And so that was pretty freaky, and we knew that this was pretty serious. And but in any case, that's what happened. And then so now the latest was that he came back from the monastery and came back to his apartment, and then he went to the hospital or something with his men to see his men, and he was arrested. Now he's in jail, and also now there's a question of things happening with the gentleman who was helping us, and he may be having trouble as a result of this, big trouble, and so it's all pretty scary and tenuous at this particular moment, and but that all being the case, it's in the Lord's hands. And I was thinking, kind of as a side note about about losing the money, is that maybe I never had it. I could say, yeah, Satan stole it from me, and they sent that super soldier witch to blow up the car and burn our money, but it was all in the Lord's plan, and it was all in the Lord's hand. He could have stopped that if he wanted to, and in fact, I was thinking it may have been ultimately the Lord who did that. As strange as that sounds, I think people that are willing to accept that God does both good and evil, they're not going to make it, because the real picture hasn't been shown to them. But this isn't in any way a criticism of God whatsoever, because all his ways are perfect, and he is pure, and all the things that he does are good. What I'm saying is that God does both the good and the evil. Not evil in terms of like doing wrong, evil in terms of things that go wrong, that have to go wrong. And that was for our benefit, and it was for our, whatever it was. If I'm not going to even, of course, to dare to say that I understand anything that's happening, but I would speculate that it's to keep things in a certain way that they need to be. Maybe I'm not supposed to go over there. Maybe that's what it was. I was thinking, like, that's the thing. It was to prevent me from going over there. We've got water. You're the only woman I ever really loved, Ada. So, when Anna was attacked by the devil, she became blinded. But she has so much psychic ability that she can still get around and function, because she can see, like, in the spirit, like shapes of energy, like people are shapes of energy, like Master Amperchat's energy is like this purplish energy, but most people's energy is like a white, and some people's energy is like a red or an orange, you know, just, I guess, depending on what kind of creature they are. And our friend Seraphin is like a big thing of fire. He's like a fire. I think he's like one of those burning cherubs, you know, kind of like Satan was a I am fire of fire. I don't want to bow down to Adam that's made of clay. But yeah, so I think that people have these different energies. So Ada was blinded, and then when she became blind, I started talking with her every day on the phone. And by doing so, because I didn't want to leave her alone in the dark, and because we had been talking, and she had been a friend of mine, and we had been talking like probably on the phone like maybe once a week, or maybe a little more than that, I don't remember how much, but and emailing a lot, you know, we'd email each other and send each other links to stuff, you know, and we just started talking more. And when she became blinded, my heart just went out to her, because my God, to have the lights turned out, I mean, I would just be so screwed. I can't see jack in the spirit. And so I would have been just like El Screwed Arama if that happened to me. So, I mean, and, you know, now she was working as a gemologist in Thailand, and so she couldn't work, and she was injured and living at this monastery. And so I started speaking with her on the phone, and she still had the ability to operate a phone. I don't know if she could dial the number, but I think she could hit the redial, or like she could answer the phone and call, but she can't like see individual things like in order to type in the number. So her friends, you know, made sure that my number showed up on her thing and everything, and she could call me and I can call her and she can get it. And as I mentioned, that her work with Captain Jones was so stressful, because, you know, they're dealing with just nightmare situations of these satanically controlled people that are molesting children and selling them off and abusing them, and satanic ritual sacrifice, and she was involved. One of the first jobs she had was in busting these people that had abducted a little boy and a little girl, and they were about to take them in a boat to sell them overseas, and she could see in the spirit where they were, and they found it, and they went and busted the people, and just amazing work, and not taking a dime for it, friends. I mean, dude. And as I mentioned, stuff like that and everything else, and and when I was talking with her daily, and I mean, in some ways she's like a normal girl and says a lot of things that you expect girls to say, but also in a lot of ways she isn't. She's much kind of more deeper and serious. And I was just actually speaking with her, and she was talking about her history, because she worked in a steel factory after she lost her home, because she got screwed over by her aunt, who's just this really nasty person who basically cut her off and told the judge some lies so that she could get her half of the house, because she owned half of her grandma's house when her grandma passed away, because she left her parents' home after a big fight, and then she went to live with her grandmother. It was way far away. She had to take a plane to her grandmother's house in Russia, and then then her grandma died, and then her aunt told the judge that, oh, they didn't need the property, so this was some lie, and she got screwed out of it. And then so she was homeless, and she was homeless for a year, living in a train station. And she was telling me, like, a lot of times in the misery of the cold in Russia, okay, guys living in a train and sleeping on a bench for a year. And but then after that year, she got a job working in a steel factory, and so she was working and everything. I believe she was working before that, and then something happened, and then now she couldn't work. But yeah. Now the only thing is, with my Anna, she has some crazy violent incident. Like, at least once every 14 days, if not every 30 days, somebody attacks her, something gets thrown at her, something happens, she almost dies, disappears, something. It's like, it was like just this continual thing. And so, you know, and that's just one of the reasons why we were talking, and of course realizing that, you know, my God, how can we make this work? Because she loves me as well, and we both really love each other somehow. And even though we haven't met in person, and somebody was remarking, you know, that's not really, you know, that's not really love. But I think it's like it's a connection at an energetic level, because there's no real explanation for why we feel the way we feel. This, you know, in the situation. I think it's not just because we knew each other or started talking with each other. I mean, that's one reason, but I think it's like a deep soul level. We're kind of, one of the things that's interesting about all this is that Master Amperchat said that he predicted this whole thing. Like, he knew that we were supposed to get together, but I totally didn't believe it, and I wasn't feeling it at all. And the whole thing about this is that it took me a year to really realize that I loved her, and she didn't really consciously realize it either. But I think she did. Like, as I may have mentioned, how she started interacting with me was because she got like this kind of like a energetic attachment to me. Like, she felt like this sticky residue on her, and like she couldn't get it off, and she was even trying to scrub it off and everything. And just kind of a weird situation where, like, she didn't know why I was affecting her so much, and she was like praying and praying and praying about it, and then she got an answer saying, protect a priest. And so she kept asking me, what do I need, what do I need? I said, well, a break from the street would be great. And then she said, okay, we'll get you a place. And so I started looking, and it took 3.5 months, and I got the place that I got. And now a year later I might lose it, and luckily at least I was able to finish the lease. And my friends, because we lost all of our money, and we got some help from Captain Jones, and her lawyer pitched in and to help me last one more month to finish the lease here, so at least I wouldn't break a lease and get that against my credit, which make it difficult to rent again. They're really strict about it here, and if your credit gets biffed like that, like if you have a default, they may reject you next time you go to try to rent somewhere. So yeah, and but anyway, so what can I tell you about this? I mean, it's hard for me to describe it. Like, I'm trying to think of what to say. Basically, we're just like, we were talking, and you know, and just start, like, my body just starts telling me, yeah, when I'm talking with her. And let's just say that certain things have to be changed sometimes after talking with her. In fact, almost every time. And yeah, I mean, that kind of excitement. And so, like, we just really like, and hers, she had that as well. So we really seem to kind of like do it for each other, but we're both a little bit slow and stubborn. So God had to put us together in a situation where we would be interacting with each other for a year before we finally figured out, oh, and I just realized, like, it wasn't even like a realization in the normal sense. I just, all of a sudden, I said, oh, you know what I have to do? I have to call her up before one more day goes by and tell her that I love her, because she just does constantly crazy stuff where, like, she could die any time and could be gone forever. And even though she has like all these superpowers and everything, I'm like, I kind of feel a little bit better about it now, because like incident after incident after incident where I thought she was dead and gone have happened, and she's still here. So I just have a little bit more confidence that crazy stuff happening doesn't mean the end, because I guess I'm too much of a worry wart. But so anyway, and as I said, that last incident where she because Captain Jones gets shot in the chest, he's dead, lying on the ground, and then she heals him, takes the shot to herself, and yet even after taking the shot to herself, she gets up on the horse, gets shot twice more, and then she's fighting all these monks and everything, and with the Master Amperchat's monastery monks, fighting the highest master monks. And then, so this and that happened, and what happened was, after we defeated their monks, and we're all there in the monastery, and in the battle, Anna comes up to highest master monk of Thailand and punishes him by taking his eyesight, and he's blind. Yeah, and she took his eyesight, and then so he's there at the monastery, and and we're keeping him prisoner there behind because he was screwing up big time and attacking them and doing all this, bad stuff, and because he wanted to bring in Anna to sorry, I'm walking down a steep road here. So he wanted to bring Anna in to do a healing for somebody, and for and he was gonna like try to force her to stay at a certain place and all that stuff. But we said no, we're doing it for money, and so that's why I told you about that. And then but in any case, so he's blind in the monastery, but over time they start working with him, and at first he's like very belligerent, and it's problematic, and but they took him over because he started screaming and yelling, and they finally had to drag him off from the main grounds and stash him in the library because he was just yelling, and he's blind, and he's totally pissed off, and he's like used to having a lot of power and men and stuff around him and everything, and so now he's there, but over time he starts getting better, and as Anna is talking with him and trying to explain things to him, and then working with Amperchat, and Amperchat was training his men, and because they all went into the monastery, and so anyway, then finally, the next I hear is that highest master is starting to at least show signs of getting better, and like he starts being nicer, and just starts asking her questions because he starts getting curious. He wants to know about her because she's like has all these superpowers, can heal and call down lightning and also punish people and all that stuff. And then she restores his sight, and so they continue talking and stuff there at the monastery, and so finally, we were talking about negotiations about a fee for the healing, and so what happened was that they took a long time, and finally they came to an understanding, and they went off to a certain place to go perform this healing. But as I told you, when they got to this place, all the people that were there were like questioning her, and like, is she, worthy, and all this stuff, and like, what can she do? And it's no simple, going and doing it, getting the money and leaving. And I think they're being foolish, frankly, because she could get frustrated with all that. And I even told her, I said, look, if they don't pay her a retaining fee, she's just going to go out and take some business in town, because it's she's got to take care of her business and everything, so. But so far, I guess that didn't work out. We couldn't get that. But then, as I told you, so remember that the car with the money got attacked with our friend's worker, and he got severely hurt. And we found out that that the help that we needed, the legal help, was with that guy who got severely hurt. And so what we found out was that we basically, in order to get Captain Jones out of the prison and get his name cleared, because he was accused wrongly, is that she would have to heal this guy, because he's the only guy who could do it that has the ability to do it. And as I told you, he's unconscious and severely hurt. And because we had been like, she can heal, but it's a big deal. She almost died last time, and this guy's injuries are way worse even than Tuang, the girlfriend of Kunpi's, her lawyer's, his girlfriend. And so because she was ground up hamburger, man. I mean, just like no face either, just like total shredded. And when she took on those injuries to herself, she screamed, and then she was hamburger like that, and then Tuang was in perfect condition. Miracles, guys. I mean, like almost on the level of Jesus, and not like Jesus where he say, you know, receive your sight, and he just spoke and it was done. But she took all these massive injuries onto herself. And then she almost died because her body was so painful to be in that she wasn't in it, and she was floating around. And as she was floating around, she was visiting the mountains of Japan and everything like that. I mean, I told you this, and she's thought mailing me. So she thinks, and it ends up in my inbox, in my Gmail. Yeah, no bullshit. This is really happening, and she does it all the time too. In fact, she emails me and gets emails from me all the time, and she writes them and everything in English, and her native language is Russian. So occasionally, sometimes, like when she's stressed out or something, the email comes to me in Russian. And so luckily you got Google Translate. But anyway, so yeah, and all this is going on, and so then they're at this place, and but things aren't working out, and so we found out that and so we're out of money. That's the main thing. We're totally out of money, and she has her office and her apartment, and then there's me over here, and so but in any case, so we're, you know, like, oh crap, you know, what are we gonna do? And I'm, you know, getting ready to be homeless and everything, and you know, so I'm like packing up my stuff and all that, and getting ready to get out, because unless something happens, and what we did right now is part of the gifts that we got from the guy that was helping us before the accident came, because when the accident happened, he had a problem as well, and so he became afraid to help us, and understandably so. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I know what the circumstances were, and this could be a serious problem, and so but the bottom line was that, you know, $100,000 burned up, guys. Okay, that was on its way to me, and she's because we totally screwed up. I told her just to send me 15. She goes, no, I'm gonna send it all to you. I'm sending it all. We'll do this bigger job later, and you know, because she's gonna do a much bigger job and get a lot more money than that. And so, but it all fell apart. We're out of money. We're screwed basically. And but she still had some part of the gifts that we had gotten from this guy, besides from the buffalo and some dresses for her. She got an Armani dress and everything. And I'll show it here on the screen here real quick. And cover her face, because as I said, she wants to be anonymous, and she doesn't want me to talk about her too much, even though I'm gonna keep a log of everything, but not, you know, nothing that discloses who she is. But in any case, so yeah, but part of the gifts was a couple of gemstones, and and of significant size and thus value, and so I was like putting all my stuff on eBay and Craigslist, like, oh, okay, shit, I gotta move out, be homeless again in the RV, and it was just really gonna suck. It's gonna hurt real bad. But anyway, I don't know, I just don't like it. Some people, they're cool with it, you know, but I like a place. I really do. You know, I don't choose. Well, you could say I choose, but if I could choose to not be homeless, I would. That's, I could put it to you that way. I said, I thought of the idea because the gemstones were at the monastery where they had brought the money and everything, and then when they left, and then the car burned up, but the gemstones, they left there. So I said, why don't we take and sell one of those and see if we can get that money to tide us over before, you know, I have to give up the place, and she has to give up her places and everything, and we're all basically lose everything, right? Because we don't have anywhere to store everything, and I don't want her to lose her office and everything. So, what it is one of Captain Jones's men was there, and he was telling me, yeah, we'll put it in the car, and we'll take all of her stuff that's in her treasury here at the monastery and bring it over. And I said, no. Oh, whoa, there's lot more water in there next time. I wanted to see how much water is, and look how much water, guys. Oh, whoa, oh man. Hold on, can't see it. And they were going to take the car, and And so I told you that we got attacked by a super soldier witch that fired a fireball at the car, or whatever she did, and blew up the car. And so I said, no, don't take the car, don't take the car, and don't take all the treasure. Otherwise we learn nothing. Because that's what they're going to target. I think they were targeting our money, targeting our wealth, trying to, dry me up. Satan's been targeting my wealth since day one, or it's a curse or whatever, or however it works. And so I said, look, just take one of the gemstones, and I recommend just walking, and it's a big long distance too, so it'll take like 10 hours. But they have horses. So get this, Master Amperchat, who I would say is probably in his 80s, and you can see how good a health he is. He says, yeah, okay. And he says, we'll take the horses and ride in. So Master Abramchad, a bunch of monks, one of Captain Jones's men was there, who I was talking with the email, and they took one of the gemstones and they brought it in, and they brought it in on horseback and they delivered it. Yeah. And but it takes like 30 days to appraise it, and then God knows how long it'll take to sell it. So I may still have to move and give up everything, my damn big TV. Oh God. But I might be able to wing something. We'll see, maybe. So I've got till the end of the month. I've got 15 days. If nothing happens by then, I'm gonna ask the manager if maybe he'll let me use the deposit for the last month's rent. Maybe last one more month, and then maybe something will come through by then, hopefully. But if not, well, it's in the Lord's hands, as you guys know. You Christians who understand that everything is in God's hands. And I guess we'll see. So I thought I would visit Zanuga Pond again and see if we got some rain, not that much, but enough to maybe it change it, and I can definitely see it did. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how much more water there might be in there, and we'll find out in just a moment. Wow, it's a lot more grown over, it looks like. Oh, I see. Here's the path. Oh, shit. Better check that. Ticks. So the amazing thing is that I now have a woman who loves me, and I love her. And I didn't think that would happen, because I was thinking that my life would have a different direction, of course. Of course, always these things are a surprise, as my dad said. My dad told me before he died, he said, son, you'll just be doing something, minding your own business, doing whatever you're doing, and you won't be interested in a relationship or settling down or anything like that. And do you know what's going to happen? She's going to come along. She's going to come along. And do you know what's going to happen? She's going to rope you in. And indeed she did. Except she never told me that she loved me. I told her. Well, guys, look. There's significantly more water in there than last time. Wow. There's actually an area that looks like water rather than moss. So that's pretty interesting. That see, in all this time that I've been living here in these mountains over here, and I've been walking along this fire road, I never noticed that there was a pond here, except that I have this camera which has a really great zoom, this Panasonic HVC 250, and it's got like a 50x real zoom, 90x, but this actually digital goes up to 3000. You can really see. I'll just give you a quick example. You can zoom in way on something far away. That's the maximum zoom with the 3000. Fucking bug shit. Bug lands right in my hand as I'm doing that. So, that's how I noticed Zanuga Pond. Wow. Oh, look, it looks like there's something. Oh, ducks. There's ducks in there. There's ducks, look. Hello, ducks. Cool. Well, this trail continues to go up. I wonder where it goes. But I'm here for the water. Wow. Thanks for the pose, bud. How's it going, Mr. Mallard? Yeah, you found yourself a little lake. Oh. Well, this is a nice little place. Yeah, ducks love water. That's what they do. Well, oh look, there's a whole family of them. Oh, well, I won't disturb them. I'll just stay over here. That's where I was sitting before. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. 6, 7. That's not really a duck. Maybe I think over here is like something else. Let's see. It's like some other kind of. Yeah, it's like. Oh, maybe that is. So 6, 7, and then 8, 9. I count 9 total.